back to the best thing we watched this week. It's a little bit different. Chris is still there being Chris. I'm still here being Ruben. But because we're not doing it live, we're going to do our top 10 movies of the year each so far. So we'll probably do another one at the end of the year, I imagine. And at some point, Chris and I will look at doing series because, that's a thing that we do as well. But I'm excited to see what Chris has got in store for us. And my list is probably going to differ. The thing is, we don't get to talk to you this time round, which is the saddest part of this recording. So drop us your lists in the comments below. Leave us some love like you guys normally do, but, bombard us with your list. We would love to see if we didn't include anything in our top 10 and you're like, holy crap, man, why didn't you include that? Then, maybe we haven't seen it and we will put it again on our list. Or maybe your lists are just wrong. And, Chris's lists are often wrong.
Wow. Just calling out right at the beginning there.
Have you got any munchies?
No. I have those. Sad. I have those weird gel things again over here. That's the only thing I have next to me. I'm not sure I'm feeling that adventurous.
Yeah, I don't think I want to put you through that. All right, but next week we will be again live as per usual, barring any insurrections of any kind at any point with whichever continent, because there's many continents that seem to be teetering on the edge at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed, touching wood, we will be back next week. But Chris and I are going to do our top 10.
Yes.
And we're going to do it 10 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, like lowest, I've ranked mine. Have you ranked yours?
I have ranked mine, yes.
Cool, yes. Coolio. And we've got 2 honorable mentions, which I was wondering, we should start with the honorable mentions now rather than say them at the number 2, because it's almost like they're in between 1 and 2. That never sits right with me. I'm like, they're honorable mentions, so they're outside of the 10.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. I always just thought because then you don't know what's going to come at number 1.
Oh, I see. So it's a bit of a pause. Are you building up?
Yeah, because we've not listed. Right. Wait, how can you?
Let's split the difference. Okay. Let's do 1 honorable mention now and 1 at number 2.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so what's your 1 honorable mention?
My 1 honorable mention is an Irish film, Froicha, which is that came out this year. It was the second Irish language horror film that I had watched this year, which is wild. But this one gives off those vibes of like The Wicker Man. And, where you have this town where cult-ish behavior goes on. It's weird, but more so, it's this woman who is taking care of an older woman who is recovering from a stroke. And the older woman has all kinds of weird rules in her house. She has all kinds of just wrong things dangling from trees outside. Not like little things to keep birds happy or to, create noise and music or something like wind chimes. No, these are like doll heads and weird crap like that where you're like, The atmosphere of this movie is really done well. And despite it being like there are opportunities for it to go deeper into certain parts, but the ending I really liked because of what it had teased earlier in the movie and then continued the theme through and then punctuates the entire thing at the end and does it in a great way. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm still yet to see this, but I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this. Do you mimic Chris's thoughts? This is on our never-ending long list, but it's on there.
It's on Shudder too.
It's on Shudder.
Okay, now, cool. Yeah.
Now it's on Shudder. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
What were you going to ask me?
Was this the one that was like in Gaelic?
Yeah. It's Irish. The other one was Antasha,
right?
The ghost, and that was the one that was the first, at least how they're marketing it, the first fully Irish language
Right.
movie also. Yeah, both of them
Yeah, really
definitely worth
interesting.
seeing. Yeah.
Mm.
What's your honorable
Cool.
mention?
I'm going to talk about Thunderbolts because this is the best Marvel's been in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the fact that the movie is actually about depression and how that manifests is it's wrapped in such a nice superhero fantasy moments. The only reason why it's not in my top 10 is that um most of the action sequences we see in the
Mm.
trailer, like we've seen everything in the movie, they're just a little bit longer. It's the dynamic of the team that makes this movie work, along with the the heavy theme, which I thought was brave of them to like continue to go down that route. I would love Marvel to, if they don't have a clear plan of like an MCU 10 to 15-year plan, then do these standalone movies because like with Predator, they're proving that individual in the franchise works. You can connect it with a little bit of an anchoring end screen thing like teasing what may come, but you can have a standalone story. Um, so yeah, that's my honorable mention.
I love you say if they have a plan. Like we know, I'm pretty sure they don't. At
I mean,
least,
they keep pivoting because of half of their actor bases are on some sort of sexual allegations, so they
oh, and
keep
they
having
just
to pivot, and then the
well,
company keeps changing doctrine and policy, and makes them look like absolute douchebags. So you know,
they because of the multiverse, they could just continue to bring back the original handful of cast in different roles. I call it good.
they are doing that. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, let's get into our top 10. So what's at your number 10?
My number 10 is another horror. Actually, I have quite a few horrors this one. But it's The Woman in the Yard. Now,
Hmm.
this was a polarizing movie for a lot of people.
Hmm.
Like I think, and actually, probably more people disliked it than liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Funny that you were talking about, depression with Thunderbolts because this movie is definitely just seated right in grief. Um,
Yeah.
the
Agreed.
entire thing. I mean, the reason the woman in the yard shows up is because of grief,
Yeah.
and again, this just like Frauke, this one, the atmosphere is what really got me. That
Mm.
we have this breakdown within the family, and it's heartbreaking to watch. All
Mm.
while the creepy just presence that's sitting outside, is just kind of moving closer and closer and everything. And I loved what they did with some of the shadowing, some of the lights where you would just watch the woman move even though we didn't watch her move. You would see
Mm.
the shadow progressing
The
through and what that
stretching of
does.
the shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, just and her getting closer and closer to the door and it just that's you feel this doom coming. Just this
Mm.
just wrought with tension and dread.
Mm.
The ending is not the ending I wanted.
Mm.
Um but it fits within the entire rest of the film, you know? Um,
The ending is interesting because I've seen critics that I trust, right? That I think are good, well-rounded, thinking people, and they will be on opposite end of the scale of what actually happened at the end. Yep. Yep.
it's quite,
I've read huge articles about
that's,
taking certain fragments of they believe this happened at the end, and another one, no, they believe this happened in the end. One's a happy ending, one's a sad ending.
well, and I can see, I mean, applying like the emotion to it, I mean, there's closure to it. It's not the ending I wanted. I think maybe that's what it is, that it's like, you could see it as happy or sad, depending, I guess, also on your outlook. But
Depending
um,
on what you think happened. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay, well, that's interesting. I thought it was pretty cut and dry at what happened,
That's yeah.
but
You should have a look online. It's very
all right,
interesting.
yeah, okay. Well, thank you for that. All right, so yeah, The Woman in the Yard, number 10. What's your number 10?
I didn't like the ending of Woman in the Yard, so this doesn't make my top 10. I was just like, nah.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
get
y-
that. I get that.
Great acting, good looking film, but the execution of the ending, I was like, nah, jog on.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't like
You
it though
knew.
too. Yeah,
You probably
because
knew. You're probably giggling while you were watching. Like, you're just gonna hate this ending.
yeah, I think it's not the type of like you're fine with the movie because of you're embracing horror more and appreciating a lot of more of these aspects, but you still like a certain type of ending to walk away with. This one doesn't do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so my number 10 is Mission Impossible 8.
Mm.
Uh, it, it's crazy that I'm even putting it like this far down in the top 10. And the only reason it's made it onto this list is because of the two final.
Mm. The
The
stunts.
action scenes are like they're incredible, and no one is doing what Tom Cruise is doing. But I just can't get past the fact of like an hour and 40 minutes of exposition and recapping. I just can't. So, as much as I love the franchise and I love seeing my characters again, I really wanted the film to go in different ways in the storyline. But the submarine scene is incredible. Probably one of the best, if not like in the top 10 best executed scenes for tension that you'll get in cinema. The amount of practicality that Tom Cruise does in his stunts, like just, as much as he can do for real without actually killing himself and gets close to it is great. And it shows, it works. And so when that is happening, it's awesome, which is why I put it at 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I I held my breath in
Mm,
in that sub
yeah.
scene. That was,
Yeah.
and I think for as exciting as the plane scene was, I think I like the sub scene more.
Sub scene's better for sure. It almost
Just
needed to end with the sub scene because it would have been on a higher note. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, cool. All right.
Mm.
My number 9 is not a horror. It is a
Oh, wow.
thriller. It's a thriller. So there you go. Drop.
All right. Yeah.
So
Cool.
this one, despite them showing a lot in the trailer, which I
Mhm.
I was really bummed about, even just the initial trailer, because that's the only one I ever saw. Um,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Christopher Landon, the guy who directed this. Who he did films like Happy Death Day and
Oh, yeah.
Freaky, and
I
so
didn't know he had directed. I enjoyed Drop a lot. I only recently watched it, and I was really surprised by it.
yeah, I mean, it's so much like the the. So excuse me, I was wrong. He did not direct. Oh wait, nope. Direct. He did direct Freaky. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but the setup of this. Okay, so the simplicity of the setup I loved. The tension that was there and the who done it aspect. Like I didn't guess it. Um,
Oh no,
and
I didn't either.
I mean, because like I suspected at one point, but
Mm.
but I suspected multiple people.
So many, which is talk about a contained location storyline, and they can get tired really quickly unless they're executed really well to keep that tension, that mystery as well.
Yeah, the I mean that part of it is so well done, and then it goes into batshit crazy
Oh,
at the end.
man, I love
You know,
the ending. Like, talk about a movie like going from The Woman in the Yard. This ending, I could get behind. I was like, I didn't expect you to go as batshit crazy as you do, but you fully embraced it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, I was like totally there for it too. You know, as much as I didn't like certain aspects within the trailer because it, it shows sequences, whether or not they're out of sequence or not, it shows people and places, which
Mm,
removes certain bits of
right. I hadn't seen the
peril.
trailer, so I went straight into it blind.
That is the way to do it because then you have no idea at all. And so, I mean, yeah, just the ending of this was like so exciting too. And it's what you
Mm.
want. It's that, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Megan Fahey too was just outstanding in this. She, as the lead, I mean, she was, I don't know if you watched it on Netflix, but she was the older sister in Netflix's Sirens.
Oh yeah, no,
And
I haven't seen that.
okay, she does a great job in that too. And it's just like I'm enjoying seeing her in different projects now, and the some of the down to earth and the relatable type of character that she brings.
Mm.
Nice. So
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, that was a surprise when Kaylee, my partner, and I eventually sat down to watch it. We were both like expecting it to be fine,
Mm-hmm.
but not actually expecting to really enjoy it. Yeah, good, good, good list. Um, my 9 is probably going to surprise you. Uh, maybe not so much. I don't know if you will even have this on your list. I know you enjoyed it, but I'm really enjoying the resurgence of this actor, Josh Hartnett. We had him in Shiloman's
Crap.
where he plays just a fantastic psycho. Again, a film I recently showed my wife, and she was like, "This was really fun and subverts your expectations in a lot of ways." And it's like, yeah, it was like 2 movies in one. Good fun. I enjoyed it more like the second time through, which was interesting.
Mm.
But I'm actually talking about Fight or Flight. It's this original. I mean, this is such a great film because it knows what it is. It sticks to that. There's some superfluous characters that aren't needed in exposition, but that's fine. That's just like the icing of once we get crazy guy who has a certain set of skills but is actually a bit unhinged, have to take down a bunch of people in the air. It's, you know, that's exactly what I want. And Josh Hartnett sells it. Like, he's crazy in the best way. The hand-to-hand combat fighting scenes as well are so fun because you get to see, like, because a lot of us have been lucky enough to be on a couple of plane trips, and so when we see seatbelts being used or tray tables or or bathroom scenes, fantastic scene. There's just so much that like we can resonate with and go, wow, but also just really enjoy. There's a sequence that is brilliant in it. Josh Hutton's character is on drugs, and what
Oh my
he's seeing is
gosh.
different to what's actually happening. There's a chainsaw scene. Like, it knows, yeah, how. Forget all the nonsense of how they got those weapons on the plane in the first place. Just enjoy the ride. And that's what I love. I think this will be like a multiple rewatch over the years. I'll be going back to this just because it's so much fun and it's ridiculous and stupid and would probably never happen because, but this is what I like. This is why I do what I do. Escapism. That's what I need.
And talk about a contained space. You know,
So tense. Yeah.
where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? You're in a metal box in the sky.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
poking it.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. Oh man. All right. Yes, that was a fun movie. I like that one. Uh, my number 8 is your. I think it was your honorable mention, Thunderbolts.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Okay, cool.
yeah, I think maybe I enjoyed this even more just because I had such like almost
So
negative
low
expectations.
expectations. Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Like
I get that.
I You were absolutely right. I mean, the depression angle of this, them leaning into that and looking at that and handling it really well too. Like without
Mm,
though being preachy about it. Like
mm,
actually the conversations, that Yelena has with Bob, and I mean they felt natural. They felt like, okay, this is just a heartfelt conversation between two people. Even though uh Yelena is a hardened killer, she has softness to her, you know? And we get to see that transition even in her where she's like, I'm done. I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to use my skills for this. And the humor really I was enjoying that a lot, and I totally agree with you that Marvel needs to do a lot of these one-offs that sure tie them together in the back end somehow if you want, but stop forcing it. Let us just
yeah.
have this dysfunctional group of characters who become a family, and they do things that we want to see. I mean, there's a lot more that I would have liked to have seen in this.
Yeah.
The I did like though that I didn't, because I'd only seen I think the first teaser trailer of it.
Mm,
So when some of the sadness is beginning to like spread, and
mm,
the effects of that, like I was like, oh, that is a really great representation of how the the abyss that could feel inside you of, from depression, how that manifests itself if somebody else were to see it, and how it, you know, so I appreciated the way they handled it. Um, the characters were great. I still don't understand Taskmaster. That's I
they're
it's
just they've ruined that character. They're just such a
twice.
shame for the fans of
Yeah.
Taskmaster because Taskmaster, like I remember Taskmaster being formidable, scary, great, really fun. N- n-
I,
I don't know what they did with that character, but okay. And then
yeah.
just had her to kill her off. What the
Yeah, it made no. I mean, it was like a punchline that
yeah.
didn't land. It was just a rude punchline.
Mhm. The movie itself, great, but Marvel or Disney really need to get on top of their marketing because, like, all the trailers and stuff after the teaser had this shadow effect and showed the majority, like, that's in the trailer. And then they renamed their movie as the big reveal. That's a big part of the big reveal in the literally had the actors go back and say, this is,
Yeah,
I was like, what, why?
yeah. No, this should always be called Thunderbolts with the asterisk.
But they
You
made
can.
it official themselves. They just changed
I
it up. And I was like, that is just
yeah,
a weird way to do business, man.
yeah. Because now, what are you going to call your next movie with them? You can't, right? You
A
can't
waste
call.
of time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Only joking. A lot of waste of time. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
Okay,
uh,
so my number 8
mhm.
is a horror
Ooh,
that I only saw today.
really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, this only came out 3 weeks ago here in the UK, so it's been one that I've been wanting to watch. But you guys had it like months ago, uh, and I really like this. I don't know if you like this movie at all, but I thought this was again a movie that knows what it is and sticks to the genre and executes it quite well. I was creeped out, it gave me Babadook vibes, and it's called It Feeds. Have you watched this movie?
Mm, I don't think so. That doesn't
Oh,
sound familiar. Let me look this up. Wow. Okay.
okay. Um, I love the idea of this story. It's really interesting because you have an entity that's attached to a young girl, and the young girl um is she's getting hurt and she needs help, but her father won't allow her to get help. And then on the other side of the story, you have a clairvoyant who actually is clairvoyant. And they do this really creative thing where they can go into the mind, where she can go into the mind of the person that she's trying to help. And so you get different mind palaces and you see their like inner turmoil and inner demons, and she helps them through that if she can. But it carries weight and consequences for being in that mind palace in their territory, basically. And so when you take that and you mix it with this creepy entity, you get for some fun shenanigans, and it subverted my expectations. That's what I liked it about it a lot. There's a moment in the story that it gets to where I think it's going this way, and it does, but it has an added caveat to it.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was so surprised. I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is genuinely creeping me out in places." It's not like 100% original. It's taken bits from other horror movies, but because of the way it executes it, it's tight. You like the acting. You care for the characters. So I loved the ending as well. I thought, yeah, good ending, well done. This is a big surprise for me.
I do, now that I've looked it up, I do recognize it
Mm.
because it's the second movie, at least that I know of, that has Ashley Greene and Sean Ashmore in it. There
Okay.
was this other one that I think was on Netflix. I mean, that was god awful, but
All right. Yeah.
I saw it on Netflix. I don't know if it was actually a Netflix movie or not, but good to hear that this one's fun. Okay, and
Yeah.
creepy and okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice. I'll
Hmm.
have to check that out. I don't know. It's
It's
on. It
got
looks like it's on Prime
great.
here in the U.S.
Oh, great! You should definitely check it out. It's got great practical sets.
Mm.
So, like for the mind palaces, it's not CG or anything like that. They've built it,
Oh,
and so she
nice.
gets to walk around in really creepy environments, which really adds to the kind of believability of her ability.
That's great.
Uh, yeah, it was really interesting.
Okay, yeah, because that was like one of the stories in Black Mirror that I liked, where this person was going into photographs.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
see that part of it, and it adds to just some, like, just a lot of realism or tangibility. Maybe that's a better word.
I think you have a blast with this. Like, so it doesn't rewrite the genre, and it's
Hmm,
not like the best, but it. I had fun with it. So,
cool. Okay.
mm,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Uh, Mine for number 7 is a horror.
Hmm.
Also,
Okay.
um, this one it's on Netflix now, which is great for anybody that missed it in the theaters. But it's Heart Eyes, the one that came
Okay.
out in
Yeah.
around you know Valentine's Day ish, and you
Yep.
just have that killer who is going, I guess, around the country every Valentine's Day and killing couples. And this time they've ended up in Seattle. And you have Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt, and their chemistry together was cute. Like, I liked them because they were not initially compatible, you know?
True. Mm.
That they, like, Mason Gooding is optimistic and happy and believes in love, and Olivia Holt is the complete opposite of that. She's had bad experiences, and
Mm.
so not open to a relationship, you know what I mean? And so that them starting off that way was great, to then have them trauma bond through through this horrific night. um like, I was bummed that I had figured out the killer very, very,
Mm.
very early on. Um, that being said, I didn't see other surprises, so that was fun.
I didn't figure it out early on, so yeah, I was interested when you said that. Um, Especially didn't expect the surprises
Yeah, that
either.
part that part I enjoyed a lot because I was like, "Ooh, okay." Um,
Mm.
the chase aspect of this is really, it was surprising at how tense it became. We watched this in the theater and we're just having a blast with it because you just
The
feel,
kills were gnarly.
oh my gosh, I mean, even the opening scene where she's squished, that's gross. And then And then the chasing through the drive-through or the drive-ins.
Love my favorite scene of the movie. Yeah.
That is because they mix in like really wrong humor also, where
Yeah,
they
they do. Yeah, yeah. It's really good.
this couple in the back going at it, and you're like, really? Is this the time to be doing that?
Apparently, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, well, hey, go out with a bang, literally.
Literally.
But yeah, no, it doesn't outstay its welcome either. It's a tight movie, lots of good kills, suspense, good use of humor in there as well. I just had a blast with it. Yeah, it's something that this is one of these that I would watch year after year. That
I can see
because
that.
it knows what it is too. I mean, it plays into that cheese and embraces it without degrading the actual suspense that is built through that.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you, but it's definitely the better of the two movies that with love in them that came out.
Oh,
The other
man.
love was so disappointing.
That hurt my heart.
It did. Yeah, I was like, and I watched it knowing how bad everybody was calling it and expecting it to be. And I still came out going, why though?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to give that a rewatch because just thinking about it makes me want to rewatch it. So yeah, that's a good feeling. My number 7 is a horror as well.
Ooh.
And it's the latest in the franchise, Final Destination Bloodlines.
That's my number 6.
Okay, great. Yeah, I had such a blast with this. This was such a breath of fresh air. I didn't expect it to be as good. It has no right being as good as it is this late in the franchise, right? Certainly, like, if you think about other movies, the Halloween franchise, they've tried to, like, kind of remake and rebirth Freddy, the new Nightmare. They're never as good as the originals. And yeah, you and I just watched number 5, which wraps up the franchise beautifully. We never needed another one.
Mm-mm.
So to expect this one to be any good at all, I was hoping when I went in it, they were just doing their own thing and rebirthing the thing. The thing is, they did their own thing, but they also connected it beautifully, showed us the amazing opening sequence, which is just crazy.
Whoa.
It's like, wow, you guys went for it. The kills are, I think, really brutal in places. Like I'm thinking about through all the kills in the Final Destination franchise, and they're why you watch it. It's just for like,
of course,
how's death gonna decapitate somebody this time? But they're so creative in this one. But the movie is patient, like the first one, which I loved, building those characters. So you really do care about the characters when they get mangled and destroyed because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, there were a couple of kills where I was like, no, I like these characters. Which is
not them.
That's drastically different than most of the other movies where it's like, well, exactly. You're a D-bag. I don't care.
Wait for that. I can't wait for that person.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to die. And this one, I'm like, oh, no, come on. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that opening scene is one of the best ones. I mean,
so good.
Because you have the iconic, the highway scene. Okay. Yes. Which made all of us afraid to drive behind some kind of logging truck.
Yes.
The roller coaster scene in 3 is just, that's great. The others, I mean, 5 was fine. I don't even really, no, that was the bridge scene. That was fun. That was a fun scene. But again, this one in Destinations, Bloodlines, they did it differently. Like they still stuck to it, but then changed it a little bit, which made the story make sense, and it gave us a different type of arc. I was concerned for the characters. The kills were amazing in the right spots. I still think though that my number 1 kill out of the entire franchise is the gymnast scene in number 5.
That's hilarious.
It is just so brutal and abrupt, but there are plenty in this one where you're like, oh, that is. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's one character in this one that I wanted to die, and it was a kid.
Yes, yes, yes. That
Kid with a
just.
penny. Kid with a penny.
I've been seeing so many on TikTok now where they're like up in the Space Needle or they're on some, some high thing with a glass floor and
Yeah.
like and it shows holding a penny and the caption reads like he doesn't know that I just went through his texts and it's walking towards with a penny and I'm like, "Oh gosh, that's just terrible."
That's dark.
Yeah.
But great.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so that was my 6. Also, what's your
Alright.
number 6?
So my number 6 is a sci-fi horror.
Ooh.
Apple TV, The Gorge.
Yes.
This is a great film. I will watch it many times.
Yes.
I think the chemistry of the two leads and the idea of the gorge and Earth having to protect something that's in a gorge, and then technology being used to protect it, and there's a whole blah 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 story. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it because it still can be spoiled. I just really liked the chemistry between our two leads. I think I just totally believed them together. And then when we finally get into the creature creations, they were spectacular. Like really well done, really creepy, great action sequences. Yeah, definitely worth a rewatch or a watch if you haven't yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a great surprise.
Mm.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. My number 5, halfway through. Yes. Ballerina, or From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Still haven't seen it. Gonna watch it tomorrow.
Oh, cool. I'm not gonna spoil it. I like, especially because I rewatched John Wick 1, the very first one. This has a lot of the same pacing as that we are given the time to understand who the character is, and then we get a lot of the action. I mean, there's still action here and there, and the training scenes I thought were done really well. I love that it hopefully will silence all of the misogynists who are like, "Oh, she's too tiny, she can't take down a dude." No, I know it won't, but dude, when she is told to fight like a girl and she starts to, wow, watch out.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to it.
I love her vulnerability. The story, it's not anything really different than the John Wick movies. That's not an issue,
We don't need different. The movies that we liked the original for a reason. That formula works.
Totally. And so we understand her motivation. We understand why she's doing what she's doing. I do like it from the point of view, though, of the Ruscaroma, because they have a different type of mantra, I guess, maybe. You know what I mean? Directive. And so it takes the assassin and it looks at it in a slightly different manner. So that's just a new dimension, I think, to a character or to this group of people. So I'm excited for you to see this. I hope you enjoy it too, because it's just, it's a lot of fun, especially as we get towards the, in the last half of the movie, that's when it's just all out insanity and good stuff.
Nice. So what are we on? I'm on my 5 now. Okay, cool. So we saw this film this year, but it came out last year in places, but it had an official release this year in the UK. So it's an animated film called Flow, about what's it about? Gosh, It's about a bunch of animals that group together in a flood, which is like it's like the end of the world, and that's really loosely the story. So rescuing, making friends, making a family where it doesn't make sense to make a family, and who do you trust, and helping out each other,
Hmm.
and it's non-narrative. I mean, it's non-dialogue narrative. It's all just animals, and yet you're engrossed from frame one to the end. It's one of the best emotional animation films I've seen ever. Like it's just so good. Everybody needs to watch it. This will There'll be something in everybody that'll be hooked. It's one of those like, when you used to talk about Disney films, like in a or Pixar films, even
Yeah.
the original
Hmm.
Pixar's that
Hmm.
hits everybody from kids to adults. We're talking like territory of Up. There are
Yeah.
moments in that you're sad, like really sad. That opening,
Oh,
goodness. It's like,
devastating.
come on, devastating. But then we have old man Doug and a kid, and it warms everybody's hearts. That's what this film is. So I want everybody to watch it.
Nice. Okay. Yes, I need to watch it because it's on in the US. It's on a streaming channel now.
Oh, great.
I want to
Well,
say it's
give
like
it a
on
go.
Peacock or something. Let me see here. And there's a capybara on there. So yeah. Oh, it's on Max. Outstanding.
Well,
Okay.
Capybara is one of the main characters, yeah, and
Oh, nice. Okay.
brilliantly moody. Love it.
Outstanding. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, my number 4 was your number 6, I think. The Gorge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy, Miles Teller. You're right. The relationship aspect, the believability of that chemistry was, I think it was paramount. That's what made the movie because we had to have, well, we could have just had action and it would have
Mm,
been fine, but there would have been
yeah.
zero stakes at all.
Yeah.
And the patience that they take to have these characters, especially the flirting and
Yeah.
the relationship building through written words and sight only. Not there's no speaking going on through.
It's so clever to go like analog for the relationship building. With a sci-fi film, you can so easily want to do like something like critical magical thinking, right? Like let's use sci-fi or something. But the whiteboard, writing works.
And them being um highly skilled assassins. You know what I mean?
Assassins,
So you
yeah,
get to play with
who
that
are
too.
technically enemies. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to have them like her shoot something to get his attention and then kind of just flaunt off. You know what I mean? It's just the playful aspect of that I thought was really great. So that then when they do finally connect and have the ability to have a conversation,
Mm.
it's it's so touching, which then makes all of what comes next so engaging and like you feel for them now. I want this these insurmountable odds that they're up against and this treacherous just something, inside the gorge. I mean, the gorge is dangerous. And so
Very dangerous. There's a stupid. I don't understand the idea of this bit in the film, but there's an inclusion of a character that is a boss that comes to the location, and I'm like, you would never do that. That is just terrible writing.
yeah,
Pull that bit. The
yeah.
rest was like great, but that is like superfluous actor again.
I think it was to also like give comeuppance, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
Even
just
though it, yeah, that is definitely it's a cheap moment. Uh, luckily
and
though, it's
probably
not.
wouldn't have been as noticeable if the rest of the movie wasn't as good as it is.
Yes, that's. I
Yeah.
think yeah, absolutely. Because I like still even the setup that involves the
Yes.
the boss. You know,
Yes. Agreed.
maybe though, maybe it's because of who they chose that it elevated that. Like in,
Oh yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Possibly. Yes.
because now it's somebody that we are familiar with. It's, had you had some like no name type of person or whatever, just henchman or something like that. That
Yeah, henchman guy number two.
yeah,
You have a name. Do I?
it's that yeah, but
Mm,
still a great film, like you said. Yeah, you definitely need to
oh,
watch it. And
sure.
this is one that I will rewatch. Uh,
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just I leave with a smile on my face.
Hmm. The, you know what it is? It reminds me of like those old 90s, 2000s blockbuster adventure films that we used to get.
Yeah, yeah,
That real character, real adventure, escapism. Yeah.
yeah, because it balanced the two. Like think not that I'm comparing the stories or anything like that, but think True Lies, right?
Yeah.
We care about the characters because we get to see aspects of their lives
Because we
and
spent
everything.
so much time with them,
Yeah,
who they are. Yeah.
yeah. So then when things get wonky and wild, we're fully
Mhm.
invested in that, and it makes the movie memorable. Versus a lot of these movies that we see that are action oriented, which are great and they have some wonderful action moments, but the characters are so forgettable that we don't even. Wait, what did I watch? Who was in that? I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Very
that was
true.
my number four.
Okay. So my number four is a film I'm not sure you've seen, Chris.
Mm.
I think I spoke about it on one of our podcasts. I'm not sure. Maybe you'll remember it. But Yoshi, a young man who resells goods online, finds himself at the center of a series of mysterious events that put his life at risk. It's called Cloud. Um, this was such a it's not the movie that you expect it to be, but it has so much more to it than you expect it to have. It has some brilliant, brilliant acting moments and very, very unlikable characters.
Mm.
Um, but it's filmed in a way that tells you who the characters are. You're not sure who to be rooting for, but you know that there's a level of guys that you dislike to the level of guys that you really, really dislike. And they make their characters really human. It's beautiful to look at, but it's a proper thriller in a way that you don't know that it is a thriller at first, because it's basically like a scam artist that's
Mm.
reselling goods to make a profit. And even the scenes that you see him reselling goods, you're rooting for him to be able to make money for whatever reason, even though you're not sure that it's right for you to be rooting for him. But then when you see consequences of others in a similar job, or people trying to take advantage of that, it's what was the film that won the Oscar where the family goes and stays in another family's house? Um, Beautiful house, and they hide in this house, and one of them is like under the stairs in the couch. Oh, it won for best foreign film. Was it 24, 23? My gosh. It's this family that live in poverty, and then I don't know if was it them pretending to be another family or breaking into the house and living there. I
Oh,
think it was,
oh, Parasite.
yes, Parasite.
Yes,
what
they
what was
took over.
confusing you? Oh yeah, they took.
The living under the couch type of thing.
All right, yeah. There's this whole sequence
There's
where
a
it's
scene,
just
yes,
hiding.
yes, where they're
Yeah,
hiding. Yes,
yeah. That's where my brain went.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, don't know that I've seen any of the director's other work,
Mm.
but I want to. Foreboding, To the Ends of the Earth, Wife of Spy, TV series, Actually Chime, Serpent's Path, Cloud is one of those that I think once you've seen it, you'll be like, yeah, this was great. I wasn't expecting it to be like this, but it was great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I don't even remember you talking about this. I'm gonna have to try and find it because it sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And
Which is why it's at my 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, my number 3 is a movie you've already talked about.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
surprised you put it lower, but
Okay.
maybe you'll be surprised that I have it higher. Um, number 3 is Fight or Flight with Josh Hartnett.
Oh, wow. I'm
I
so
l-
surprised you have this so high.
I
Okay.
loved this. This was a
Okay.
blast. I mean, I I absolutely rolled my eyes when I saw the trailer for it, the teaser or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is just stupid." Like,
Yeah.
because I see things out of order. I see little
Yeah.
bit clips, he's got a chainsaw. Come on. What? No, it makes sense. It does, and I I loved that it embraced the silliness and just went for it. The characters on the plane. I mean, okay, so most of the baddies are just baddies. They're unnamed and they don't matter.
Oh, yeah. We
You
don't
know,
care. Yeah.
but there are a couple that we do care about that are, or at least that have personality to them. The flight attendants are outstanding in this because
Yes.
they're so concerned about their rating and their customer satisfaction.
One in
Despite
particular is like this, is really looking after this one woman. Like, I'm really worried about this first class passenger. Gosh.
despite people being beheaded and had their
Like, people are
skulls
dying.
crushed in, yeah, the whole thing just. Oh my gosh! I mean, the improvised weaponry is outstanding. The For me, the focus when we would break to watch the characters outside of the plane, that was. I mean, I like Katie Sackhoff a lot, but
Just
why we
not
didn't?
needed at all.
He was given an assignment. That's all that matters. We don't need any backstory in there because it didn't add anything, and I didn't
It
care
doesn't. It
about them.
detracts from the
Yeah,
pacing. Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really does. And you're right. The when he's on drugs and fighting reminded me of that sequence. What movie was that?
Argyle?
Yes, done much better. This was done much better
Much
than in
better.
Argyle.
Done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny in Argyle because it was not what was expected, but this was just, and I think his reactions also just completely sold it. I believed
Yes.
Josh Hartnett as this guy who does not want to be there. He's mad that he is not drunk. And now he's just annoyed that all of these people are coming after him when his one person that he's supposed to do something with won't even behave.
Yeah.
It's like the worst babysitting
Yeah.
trip ever.
Yeah. He's not a guy that's been tasked to do this mission. He really doesn't want to be there. And that makes it more entertaining. Like, it's not that he doesn't have the skills to be there. He
Oh
just
no.
doesn't want to be there. He doesn't get like
Yeah.
in fact, where we meet him is fantastic because it's in the trailer. So he's like in a tuk-tuk, like passed out,
yeah, drunk.
The
Yeah.
kid's trying to steal money from him. That's how we start. I was like, I am in.
Yeah.
This is the character. Yeah.
This is our guy. This is our hero. Okay, let's go.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, no, fun. Loved it. Just is so this again, like the Gorge and a couple others on the list. I will watch this over and over and over again because it's that much fun.
Nice. My number 3 is a film that technically released the 24th of December, but then obviously went and carried on for many weeks. And then it was by peer pressure that I watched it, badgering you guys for weeks. For weeks, you were saying, Ruben, you got to watch this. So I watched it with my family, and we were like, dang, this is one of the best movies, if not our best biopics movie. Better Man. Yeah, that is at my third. I can't wait to watch it again. My Samuel, my son, hasn't seen it, so I want to watch it with him and see his enjoyment. I mean, my youngest had no clue who Robbie Williams is
Hmm.
and loved it. My wife had some idea and loved it. I thought I didn't like Robbie Williams' music until I was singing all the words to most of the songs in the movie. I was like, why? This is like Oasis. Like, I don't technically like Oasis, but I know all the words to all of their songs. Why is that? It's because they're so well known and they played a lot. So, but to do it, to, to take the main character and make him a chimpanzee, and so then that detracts from it being all about me, but it is all about him, and he's the character. It's larger than life, but it gives so much context through all the stuff that he goes through, and it's heartbreaking a lot of the times, and you totally get it. Like it's gut wrenching. But when we get to the sequence when he's finally defeating his inner demons, it's so emotional, so real, and so well done. And it's not until the end of the movie do you get why it's chimpanzee. And honestly, I was blown away. And I'm thinking about it now, it gives me shivers. I'm like, dang, that film is so good.
I'm so glad you watched it. Yeah, I was blown away. Like, especially because this was one of those that I walked in. Like, first off, Robbie Williams, has he done anything like currently? You know what I mean? Americans don't even know who he is. Brits
Yeah,
are kind
exactly.
of like,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, we know
Eh,
who he is, but he's not really relevant anymore. And then, great, I've got another monkey movie. You know,
yeah,
we've seen Planet of the Apes. Those were done. The
yeah,
new, the new
yeah,
reboot has been outstanding. Do we need another
yeah,
singing monkey? Well, we haven't had a singing monkey, but now we do. And the way that the chimpanzee just disappeared. Like, I,
yeah. You forget that that's what you're watching.
yeah,
Yeah,
the way that it is all captured, the music, the emotion, the transitions that happen in certain things are just devastatingly awesome. Um,
yeah,
yeah, this movie, I mean, it's meant to break you, and
yeah.
it does. You feel those painful moments, but also you get the redemption part of it too. That
Exactly. I think that's what it makes. If there was no redemption, it would be too hard to watch that often. And you do have some biopics like that. But this one, it's a movie of three tiers. Yeah, there's introducing him, the thing of becoming famous among Take That, and then Robbie Williams, then that devastating middle ground of the horrible relationship with his father, and then a kind of a redemption arc of fighting your demons, but still having to battle it every day in and day out. Which I think is why we resonated so much with it, because that's what everybody does every day.
and he for him to be so vulnerable and raw. I
Yeah.
mean, like
I mean, it doesn't show him in a good light, does it?
no, he's not.
Yeah,
He's like from the very get go. Is despite him putting on these airs about I'm the greatest. I mean even with the football at the very beginning, you know what I mean, and
mm,
just missing every single shot. That I mean we needed that because had he been a cocky character like he is,
mhm,
and to never learn anything, to never show any type of growth or change, would have made him despicable. I mean, he just
yeah.
would have been you just an ass. That's all you
I
are.
mean, because it shows like there's a lot of time. He has a lot of good people that love him and are looking out for him, and he
And
treats them like crap.
he
But
is
but
just
but also understanding where that comes from,
yes.
that relationship. That I'm still heartbroken about like his relationship with his mom, and then the difference between his mom and his dad. That was oh no, his mom. He's
Gran.
is it his gran? Yeah, who is
Oh,
basically his mother. Yeah, I mean she was a beautiful character, beautiful.
those moments that flash back to him in the tub and
Yeah,
her, first telling the story of Arthur, but then also it's what's in here that,
So good.
you know,
Gosh.
uh,
So good, so good.
yeah, I have watched this probably 4 times since I saw it in the theater.
Well,
Because it's on streaming here in the US, and it is, yeah, I blown away.
yeah, it's spectacular. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, it just makes my number two like shadowed now. I mean, come on. But anyway, bring her back.
Mm.
The recent Filippo brothers or Filippo, whatever. The brothers, Raka Raka. This is a brutal movie. This again is one of those that is steeped in sadness. Um, I don't totally like the ending again on this one. There are outcomes where I'm like, no, I didn't. No, come on. But the the way that the story is built for us, and that the tension is established almost from the very beginning, and
Mm.
then continues on that upward trajectory. It doesn't dip, it doesn't stop. I mean, it may plateau for a little bit
Mm.
before going up again, but it doesn't but it's maintained there. You still feel this unease and this just wow, okay. We as the audience know something's not right. I mean, Sally Hawkins is just so good at being so wrong. And and like we see it, some of the characters see it sometimes, but not
Mm.
everybody in the film sees it, and it's like, oh, no, 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 you need to run away now. She's not right at all. um the violence in this is it's new. Like, you see things, they have characters do things where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what's going. Oh no, I didn't expect you to do that with that. Okay, thank you for that. That was yeah, I like audibly like, oh, ooh, ah, like multiple people in the theater. I mean, I
Wow.
was literally squirming in my seat because it's just the pain that we see of actions
Mm.
like was bothering me. It just I like that this has kind of a supernatural spiritual uh element to it. It has a lot of family and grief element to it. It was
Mm.
when I got out of the theater, my wife and I were talking about it, and we were mentioning how like it it reminded me in a way of the Babadook, but was not like the Babadook. Like, I hesitate to say that because I do, you know what I mean? The Babadook is singular, and it is, we're going to put it over here. It is a terrifying mess of a movie, and not a mess of a movie. It's beautifully crafted, and it's just genius, and it's amazing, and it haunts me, and I don't like it. And I love it. But this had some of those types of aura, maybe just atmosphere to it. You know what I mean? Where there's such overwhelming grief that is feeding in that it's coloring perspective. I think maybe that's why. Um, but you can't go in thinking like it's going to be Babadook in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. This is its own messed up, jacked up type of thing. And um, I don't know how this will land later in the year for me, in ranking, but this was it had been a while since I had squirmed so much and made noises that I didn't intend to make in a theater. Like at home, it's one thing, you know what I mean? I can, I'm less restrained there, but at the theater, but there was no getting around it. I couldn't do it. So,
Okay. My number two is a movie by Ray Mendoza and Alex Garland. It's called Warfare. I don't know if you've seen this yet,
I
Chris.
have not yet. No.
No. Okay. It's two movies. the first half is literally about a bunch of guys um, in the Iraq War, a Navy SEAL team, and they they are dispatched to basically do a watch mission. They're hiding in a house that they've taken over from a family, and they're just watching known combatants that are around, and they're watching whether they're doing something different from the norm. And the first half of the movie is that, and it's very monotonous, it's very boring, it's very slow. But what it gives time to is, what do soldiers do during just waiting around their mission? You see like a guy smoking, a guy doing like a TikTok dance, really humanizing their characters. And there's a great ensemble cast. Like if you go down the list of IMDb, you'll see like the amount of people. Will Porter again is brilliant in this. Then the second half of the movie hits, and it's the bad guys know where they are. But I don't think I've ever seen a war depicted in this way, because there's nothing flashy in this. It's like Black Hawk Down mixed with Saving Private Ryan. That first 10 minutes. The second half of that movie is just that. It's just what happens in that moment when everything goes to shit. And it just shows like the reality of what that is. The use of sound in this is so unique, because you get silence that's heard differently for characters that are experiencing different levels of. So if I've experienced an explosion 2 meters away, I hear it as a deafening roar. But someone 6 meters away hears it at a different deafening. So they use the sound like that. It comes in and out, and it just is so unsettling. The filming, the acting is also real. There's screaming. It goes on for too long. It makes you uncomfortable. That's why it's two movies, because the first half of the movie is like a documentary. There's a camera crew like there filming these guys, a day in the life of. Second is like war journalist. I'm there recording just hell breaking, and it's not a film that I'll go back to that often because of its themes, but it is certainly one of the best looks at. They sh- I remember saying in my review, they should take this when they're recruiting soldiers. They should make them watch this, not to scare them off, but this is what you're signing up to. This is the reality of what it is. So you're going to get trained, but one day you may end up in a situation like this, because we're putting you in places where you'll have to face people like this. Be all that you can be in several different places at once. It's yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry, that was a dark joke. Yeah,
The-
yeah. That's I just get mad because we shouldn't be killing each other. It's so stupid. But
yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I do need to see this because everybody, it's just watch it.
beautiful. You get at the end of the film, they show you who the real people were in that situation. There's like video clips of the guys coming to set, and they're really good.
Okay.
Real, very real. So,
Right.
what's your honorable mention? Your last honorable mention before we
My-
get to number one.
My last honorable mention shouldn't have been really classified as a horror. It's definitely a thriller called Presence.
I still haven't seen this.
Again, this is one that kind of polarized people. A lot of people felt it was boring and slow.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it's told. I mean, first off, it's Steven Soderbergh, so he's doing different, but it's told from or shown from a presence's perspective.
Perspective,
yeah. And so a lot of it is day in the life type of thing. I mean, it's slice of life. It's witnessing things going on in the house with this
That could
family.
totally be a comedy if it just pivoted one way.
Yeah, it really could, but not this. I mean, this show, and one of the characters, she she feels the presence. She's aware
Mm,
of it to some degree. Um, and what this does is it just slowly builds and puts us into the life of this family. And we see
mm,
them having issues. And so there's that emotional tension that's in there. There's strain, there's misunderstanding, there's not wanting to listen or not wanting to understand. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on in there. And it builds to a moment which is like, oh my gosh. And then, like, it's like fever pitch almost
mm.
because you can feel it rising, 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 rising. And then the end, it's not, it's, it's not there to scare you, but it's it, I don't, to say it without spoiling it. It just, the ending for me was very satisfying because it gives us finally a perspective on something
Mm.
that we hadn't seen. And so it's a quiet movie. I mean, it's not even 90 minutes long. So it's a quick watch. In the US it's on Hulu right now. um this is not one that I would go back to over and over and over and over and over and see. But when I'm in the mood for something quieter and a little creepy and just, it's very voyeuristic because we're seeing
Mm.
it from the
From that
entity's
perspective, yeah.
perspective. Yeah. Um,
So do you
it's
get to see what the entity looks like at all?
um, so there's um, not going to answer that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just I think of character driven with snippets, as montage types of things, long
Mm.
continuous takes. That's also something that's great because it's following and we're watching a perspective. So if somebody's walking up the stairs, we're following them walk up the stairs that go into their bedroom, do whatever they're going to do, and then sometimes it would resolve
But
right there. Or
this is your honorable
honorable
mention.
mention.
Hey, I guess it
Yeah.
didn't quite make it into 10,
Yeah,
but
into the top 10.
it's
And I think that's because of it's not something that I would want to go back to all the time. Like, it's
okay.
definitely worth revisiting, and it could have been
Mm.
on the top 10 because of the patience and because of just the uniqueness of some of the storytelling, but it also didn't outshine some of the other things.
Okay, nice. My last honorable mention is Predator: Killer of Killers.
Hmm.
Fantastic animated film. I don't know how rewatchable it is because I actually started watching it a second time through. Not enjoying it as much the second time
Hmm.
through.
Okay.
So, and that's just because I've seen everything now. I think with the Predator movies, I enjoy them if I watch them every few years. So that I
Sure.
was like forgotten some of the stuff. Where with it being so fresh in my mind, the first time I watched it, I was like, "This is fantastic," and it is still that. The animation is great. It's from some of the creators of the Sony team that did the Spider-Man movie. It's from the director of the Last Prey movie, the live-action one, and he's also helming the next Predator movie. So there's a continuity through the story elements, the pacing, all of that.
Hmm.
It's three stories that combine to make the ending. So we follow three characters. So you
Oh,
get
okay.
different times. You have a Viking, we have samurai, and you have a pilot. And you're like, how does that work? And it's like vastly different eras as well.
Yeah.
But it explains itself very well. Um, so that when we get to the big, literally arena battle, um, you know all these characters well. You are rooting for them. It's brutal. Like you want a Predator movie to be really
Oh,
gory. One of the best things about this movie is how much lore and more interesting things we get about the predators because we see many types of different predators. There's a brute, a beast of a predator. There's one that is very stealthy. There, yeah, and we see various different types of gadgets as well. Like
mm,
that's always been kind of fun in the Predator movies, is like their sci-fi tech. But this director goes, yeah, but why are we sticking to the same thing if they're so advanced in technology? Let's play around with that. Let's like see what they got. And they're a whole race of just warriors that live and breathe, for the fight. The honor,
yeah.
the thing you kill, you get the skull. My wife did point out that the predators aren't very honorable because they always come into the battle with far superior technology to the thing that they're fighting.
Well,
So
you bring a knife
uh,
to a
if
gunfight, you
if
know.
if no, if we had a laser beam, we'd probably use a laser beam. If they were like proper warriors, they'd be like, "Hey, I'm taking off my invisibility cloak. Here's a spear. I'll take a spear, and we'll go at it."
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. But that wouldn't be very fun. And this movie is a lot of fun.
We wouldn't get to watch people explode then with lasers and
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly.
Too much to ask for some freaking lasers.
With freaking sharks in the hands. Yeah. So good.
So,
So
do you think? I mean, you said that you weren't enjoying it as much the second time, and that's just because you have
that's just
just
because I
watched it.
literally just seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I will have to check it out because Trachtenberg has done like what he did with Prey, and now with the other one coming out, and just setting them in different spots and giving us the world without them being like literally connected story to story to story. I, that's the way you do it. Something like this. Expose us to
Mm,
this fun.
yeah. Exactly. So, should we talk about our number ones then?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure since neither of us have mentioned this that they are the same one.
Yes.
Uh Michael B. Jordan?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yes.
Sinners.
Sinners. I, I'm blown away by the creativity of this and the depth of the storytelling to take a known genre and not really use it as much as you might think,
Hmm.
and instead using that to reinforce the the feelings and the what's misjustices, injustices, and the racism and the bigotry and all of that, and also the assimilation. You just become like us. Get rid of your own
Mm.
heritage. Get rid of who you are. Become like us, and you'll be okay then. We will accept you. Um, and then the music. I mean, come on,
Oh, the music.
talk to me.
It's just a beautiful film. Like it's an epic. It's an opus. I I honestly feel for the director because I don't know how you go up from this. I just don't. He's worked with Michael B. Jordan a couple of times now, and their relationship, for what he manages to pull from Michael B. Jordan. Because I've seen Michael B. Jordan and other things, uh, and like Without Remorse, and that was that him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was fine. It wasn't great. Um, so it proves that the actor is only as good as their director, and the director here managed to take Michael B. Jordan and make him play two characters. If you look at some of the behind the scenes stuff of how they did that with the technology that they were using, was new again, created for the movie, just amazing what they had to do and how they created it. So, from an actor's standpoint, director manages to pull everything that he needs, shaping that story. From what I can see, coming to set every day on that film was just a joy to be a part of the experience. Everybody wanted to be because they knew what they were creating was magic. It's long and you feel it at times, but you don't mind. Like you feel it, but you don't mind that it's long
Yeah.
because the story, it's one of those films that builds and builds and builds and builds, but along the way, it's teaching you stuff that we still need to hear. Unfortunately, it is preachy, but it's preachy on purpose with an idea of entertaining you at the same time. So while it's got its messages to tell you, we're being entertained by a story of two gangsters, two brothers that are really interesting and very different and have a certain way of life and thinking. They have music in their blood as well. We bring music as part of that whole barn scene, but we're building and building and building to some spectacular musical moments that are like highlights in the film. A very interesting way to depict culture within music shown will go down in the test of time, I think, as people will refer to that moment in this film many, many years to come. Uh, like people studying film in unis, whichever courses there'll be this clip. And they'll be like, look what how brave they were. Because I wasn't sure about it when I first listened to that because I was like, what is that? Like that's so out of. And then the magic begins as how he melds and creates. I mean, this movie definitely came together in the edit as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the pacing and the tone of what they were creating there. It's an ensemble piece, not just from the actors, but from every part of the filmmaking process, from the cast and crew that managed to create sets that were just so realistic, costume design, sound editing, all of that, to the actors, uh, and some of the gore, the prosthetics, all of that, when it's there, is brutal. There's redemption arcs, there's sad story arcs, and then there's end credit scenes that help to help the story, but is also just wonderful to watch. There's one end credit scene. Well, as the credits about to start, there's like a fade to black that really like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a certain film that is done so well that I still won't say, just in case you haven't had it spoiled for you by the trailers or people in the comments if you haven't seen it yet. And then there's one right at the end of the credits that is just like, thanks for sticking around, seeing our names. Here's a little this, like, I need to own this. I need to watch the making of, behind the scenes, all of it. Great,
That
great film.
music scene that you were talking about, like I knew that while watching it, that some people were going to be like broken out of the scene, you know what I mean,
Mm,
or we're going to have issues with it. But the the spirituality that is interwoven within that, and the culture, and like I was shocked at how well it ended up working,
yeah,
because you take several different eras, mash them together, not only sonically but visually as well, and
hmm,
it ends up complementing, never detracting from what's
yeah,
going on. And it shows
yeah,
this interwoven heritage and how important the oral tale is. You know, the the history being passed down, and a lot of that through song and through the storytelling. And then we have, what's it, Miles Caton, his
oh,
first film.
first
What
first
the
film. Holy
what,
crap, man.
dude, you have no business being this good. What in the
You
crap?
know, Crossroads Demon made a deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because just what? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
absolutely shocked that he he brought such maturity to the character and to the screen amidst all of these seasoned and phenomenal actors. And like, it was not obvious that this was his first gig at all. I mean, and to be given a lead role too. I mean,
yeah,
obviously Coogler saw something,
yeah.
and was like, "Yep, he can do it. Yeah, we're gonna get that from him." And the I appreciated also the small bits of humor that lent itself to the humanity of our characters.
Mm,
That they feel very real. That they, you know what I mean, and they make it very easier to connect to like a larger group of people because, and I'm not talking about black people, I'm just talking about the people that are all of the characters that we come in
Mm.
contact with, you know, because they're given different little aspects, and maybe it makes them a little snarky, maybe it makes them very um like mournful, maybe it makes them just, you know, trigger happy, or
Mm.
some just joyous. Some that have lived a really long life and a great life, and they've lived, you know, they're now on this portion of their life where it's like, I get to do what I want finally, you know, and I'm doing that, and just I don't know. The the mid credit scene, I
Mm.
guess the was so satisfying
Yes.
because I thought it was one of those elements within the story that they had just chosen not
Forgotten.
to go
Yeah.
back to, and yeah, or forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been
Yeah.
forgotten, or just like, you know what, we're at
Yeah.
2 hours already.
We're just
Eh,
not going to tackle that. Yeah.
yeah, but then to bring that around, and that so beautiful, and so yes, that's what we wanted. You know, more of this, more of this,
Yeah.
please. But then, yeah, also the finality of that, the end scene that is patient and again honoring of music and heritage.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, this better get some Oscars.
Oh my gosh. It better have all the Oscars. I can't see a movie being better than that this year. And if there is, touche to it. But it hasn't made that much money. It's like it's not even at 400 million worldwide, which I don't get. Um, maybe the length and the look of it. I feel like it's been in the zeitgeist where people have been talking about and speaking its praises. Like I haven't come across anybody that's gone, "This is crap."
No, the only people that I ever saw were the trash people.
Oh yeah, of course. The
You know
the
that they're,
racist crap.
yeah, they see somebody that doesn't look white, and they're like,
Yeah,
ooh, bad.
yeah.
No, you're
That can't
bad.
be good.
You're trash. That's what that means. Yeah, this I it is interesting that I mean, it came out too, which is weird. I mean, it came out early in the year,
Mm,
like especially
yeah.
if you're looking at awards types of things, but it also, I don't know what it I don't remember what else it was up against at this time. I mean, I know that it had a little bit of breathing room in IMAX because they
Yeah.
re-released it in IMAX again, which I think that's where I
Mm,
saw it, and that was
yeah.
awesome to see.
Spectacular.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that once this hits, I mean, it just hit VOD.
Just hit VOD, yeah. So you
Yeah,
can own it now. Yeah.
so that should be, I hope, a boost in the people that have seen it and the
Mm.
recognition that the movie deserves. Um, I wonder though if the trailer, well, like I was bummed when I saw the trailer.
Oh yeah, man. I can't believe they showed that.
Like
Can't believe it.
like I saw a
Like
teaser.
we in our streaming, we had to delete comments because we refused to let people know
Yeah.
the thing because the whole film builds up to the ending, which they show in the trailer.
Which why would you do? I don't. I
That is
just.
mental. I don't get that.
Yeah, that made no sense to me because I was literally bummed when I saw that in the trailer. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I've gone like purposefully. I watched the teaser. I was intrigued. I got a flavor for the actors, for that this is something, you know, a little mysterious, maybe a little dark. Well, definitely dark. And then no, no, no.
Thankfully, I didn't see that trailer. And
So lucky.
if you go into it without seeing that trailer because I saw the teaser, so I knew like kind of what was coming.
Sure.
Sort of like I just had a flavor.
Yeah.
And there's a moment in the film where a character arrives at a small house, and you have an idea. Then you think, but you're not sure because you're like, really?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
can't be this movie.
Yeah.
And that's part of the mystery and the fun. So then you're really invested. You want to know. It builds, and there's still a long way for the film to build up to like what's going to happen. Yeah, the reveal of that is crappy. Again, you have the creators of the actual product, and then you have the people that are distributing it that are just making mistakes all across the board. Anyway,
Sinners, number one.
mhm.
Tough one to knock off
Oh
the
yeah,
top.
yeah, very.
We would love to know what is in your top 10. What's on your list? What did we not include that you're like, how could you have not put this on
I'm
there?
sure there's
And
loads. Like,
oh my
what are you
gosh.
talking about?
Yeah. Or why
I
is
know
this one
there's
on
going to
there?
be. I know there's going to be some comments like, Ruben, you gave this 5 stars. Why isn't this in your?
But again, that doesn't. I mean, that's a rating and then a best of list don't have to mirror each other.
No.
I mean, Fight or Flight, I have as number 3, right? It's fun, and I will definitely go back to it again and again and again. Is it as good as Sinners? By no means at all. No. You know what I mean? And from a quality depth of movie standpoint, there's
like worlds apart. Yeah.
So
but
that
I'll probably watch Fight or Flight more than I'll watch Sinners.
yes. So anyway, yeah, please let us know. We will be live again next week. We will have Munchies chatting with you all. So eagerly awaiting to do that. I can't wait. That's our favorite time of of the entire show, to see what nonsense we all get up to in the comments. Hopefully that you have enjoyed this. Maybe you've shouted a little bit at us for choosing something that you can't believe that we did, or leaving something off. But hey, we appreciate it. There is a Discord that you can join, that you can chat with us at during the week, and not just us, but everybody in the little community there. That's in the description. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/thebeardedones. That also is in the description. £1 gets you access to over 110 videos, more being added each week. And so you can check that out. If you want to request something, there are tiers for that, but you don't have to pay more than £1 if you want to get access to every single video. With that, Ruben, I think we'll say ta-ta. Okay, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.